What's up, guys? I've been working my butt off today, and when I mean working, I don't work for anybody. I work for myself, and I go out here and try to make as many political currency units, aka fiat currencies, as I can, and then I turn them into hard money. The hardest physical money, the most precious metal in the world. There's no metal in the world more precious than silver, especially rare silver. That's my opinion, but it's based on some facts and some different factors. And also the hardest money or technology or electronical money in the world, and that's Bitcoin. And the most hardest money in the world overall, and the best money ever created, and that's Bitcoin. Whether you know that or not, that's just what it is. So we're going to talk about a few things today. I practice what I preach, ladies and gentlemen. That last video you heard me, what I said, I am doing those things. Okay, I'll just say that I'm not gonna, tell on myself, but I'm not gonna contribute to certain things in this to this regime. I'll just say that to you, right? But I'm gonna talk to you about a few things in this video. And I need you guys to understand that, again, this is my channel and it's my opinion, but it's based on a lot of research, a lot of facts, and a lot of smart people that are much, much smarter than me. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this political currency unit, right? The U.S. dollar. This is the most powerful fiat currency instrument we have on the planet today. This is the most recognizable. It's the most traded, and you can basically use it in almost every country in the world, and it's recognized. The reason why this one's so different, for a lot of reasons, but let's talk about the basics. The reason why this U.S. dollar is a lot different, because I've been overseas a few times. I was in the military. I've done two 6 month Mediterranean cruises when I was in the military in 1996 and 1998, when I was 21 and 23. And every single country pretty much has its own currency. Now, some, share and this, that, and third, but you get what I'm saying. Including the United States, of course, the U.S. dollar, Canadian dollar, whatever, ruble, yuan, whatever. But what makes the U.S. dollar very different is that the other countries you can't use those other dollars in other countries unless exchange them at the bank or something like that. I can literally go anywhere in the world, almost to a certain extent, but mostly probably 90% of the world, and I can take that $100 bill. And the purchasing power obviously will be a lot more here or there than it would be in America or different parts of America, especially in California and New York City. There's not a lot of purchasing power for a $100 bill. And I can take it right to a merchant and use it. And you can't do that with certain money, not even Canadian money. You take a big bill of a Canadian money, a lot of people won't take that here in the States. Now, in Rochester, New York, where I'm from, they'll take some of them. They'll take some change here and there because it gets mixed in. But dollars and fiat currency, it's rare to find that. Okay, and that what makes us different from other currencies around the world. We're the global reserve currency. We're the world reserve currency. And how did that come about? We all know it as Bitcoin stackers and precious metal stackers. It happened after World War II at the Bretton Woods Agreement, and everything was priced in gold at the time, and rightfully so. But what happened? We decided that the United States dollar, the U.S. dollar, the fiat currency dollar, we were going to back it by gold, and that was going to be the money around the world. And then, of course, in 1971, before then, we were printing much more paper currency than there was gold. And then in 1971, you know what Richard Nixon did. And then in 1973, we did the petrodollar and everything else, and we've been going away from that. And then all the stuff with Ukraine and Russia, and we've been slowly but surely with the BRICS nations and many other things going on. We've been losing our status as the world reserve currency. And if that happens, ladies and gentlemen, in our lifetime, which I don't know if that'll happen in our lifetime, because I don't like to measure things based on my or yours or whatever lifetimes. We're only here 80 years, give or take 15 years, 65 to 95 or whatever. But the way things are going so fast, you never know. I at least think that in my daughter's lifetime, it'll happen. But I don't know. Who knows? But all I know is we have lost since 1913 roughly 97% of purchasing power versus what it was in 1913 before the Federal Reserve came. Something like that. Depends on who you ask. Some say 90, some say 99. Either way, it's a lot. And what's that purchasing power mean? Well, a $100 bill can buy a certain amount of goods and services versus what it can buy now. That's the purchase power. It doesn't matter what the $100 bill takes. And this is why I have silver, ladies and gentlemen. I have silver to maintain my purchasing power, and also as an investment, because I have, rare silver and stuff like that. And I have that, just in case it pops off with the solar panels and, all the things that silver is needed for, computers, everything else. But also I have it as a hedge against Bitcoin, just in case the adoption of Bitcoin slows down, for certain things that are happening. And that's what I want to talk to you about today in this video, among other things. If you haven't been paying attention or been living under a rock, the company BlackRock, which is directly tied with the WEF, and has between 8.5 or 8.9 and $11 trillion in assets. I don't know if you understand how much money that is. They're buying up everything, ladies and gentlemen. They have a lot of stake in a lot of different companies. I think they have like a 90% stake in the Fortune 500 companies. They have a lot of real estate. They have their tentacles in everything. And then a few years ago, they were claiming that Bitcoin was a bad thing, and you shouldn't have it and this, that, and the third. But the thing is about Bitcoin, it's a black hole, and it's an inevitable, And again, don't trust, verify. Don't believe me. I'm just a guy with a camera with a couple of things on the table. I'm a nobody. What I say doesn't really matter. Just do your own research and find out. But BlackRock wants to turn Bitcoin, or have Bitcoin into an ETF. Now, here's the thing about that. The timing is very, very crazy on this. Now, also, you guys know last week that Coinbase and First Binance were getting sued by the SEC, mostly Binance and Coinbase too, basically calling a lot of these ship coins securities, in which they are. If you know what the Howey test is, if you're trying to be a commodity, let's just say that's a test that you do not want to pass. Okay, and every single ship coin, I think all 25,000 of them except one, and I think you know which one it is, passes that Howey test. Bitcoin is completely different. Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency. It's technically a cryptocurrency. That's a commodity. It's a digital commodity. And Gary Gensler has said that. He's the head of the SEC as of right now. And BlackRock has has said that by filing to get Bitcoin as an ETF. And it's funny because they're going to keep it and use the numbers from Coinbase. They're going to keep it on a Coinbase exchange, I believe. So I think Coinbase is going to be okay. And if you guys don't know, if you guys don't think that Bitcoin is going to be an ETF based on BlackRock, let's just say BlackRock has a 575 to 1 record versus getting things as an ETF. They've only lost one time out of 576 times. So let's just say Bitcoin, if they go through with it, if they keep pushing it, will have an ETF. Okay. What does that mean? And what is that going to do to Bitcoin? Well, before I get into that, let me say this. Okay. Do I think crypto in itself, the ship coins, are dead? I don't think they're completely dead, but I think their days are not going to be what they used to be if Gary Gensler and the SEC keeps doing what they want to do. Because Gary Gensler and Janet Yellen and every leader and every Federal Reserve in charge of Federal Reserve banks and stuff like central banks and all that, if they've studied Bitcoin, they do understand it. They know how it works. You cannot stop Bitcoin. Now, you can try to regulate it. You can try to slow the adoption down. You can try to arrest people. You can do all that thing. But you cannot, and I repeat this, you cannot stop Bitcoin. And that's not my opinion. Those are facts. Now, my opinion based on some facts. And again, don't trust, verify. Okay? So do I think cryptos are dead? I'm not sure, but based on the people that I've listened to, because I listen to Bitcoiners and I listen to people that are in the crypto space. And the people that are in crypto space are very, very angry at Gary Gensler and the SEC, because the SEC basically let them do whatever they wanted for 5 or 6 years with Coinbase and everything else. And now all of a sudden they're saying that you're a security out of the blue, and we're going to sue you and this, that, and the third. And you see what the prices of cryptocurrencies are doing. Now, me, again, I don't go by probablities. I go by probabilities. And the probabilities to me say that I don't think cryptos are coming back. I think there'll be between 6 and 12 of them that'll last long and have some utility. But any of them, and I mean this, any of them that try to be a money won't last. Okay, and you know which ones they are. And if you don't, go look them up. I'm not going to name them by name. But with all these things going on, with the SEC, with BlackRock saying, "Hey, we want to make Bitcoin an ETF," because they're not making anything else an ETF. I think based on probabilities, not probablys. Let's just say I'm betting on Bitcoin, and I'm not going to put one penny into any altcoins. So what does this mean for Bitcoin or anybody that's thinking about Bitcoin when it comes to BlackRock? Well, it's the equivalent. If you are a Star Wars fan, it's the equivalent of let's just say the rebels. The rebels are Bitcoin, and the miners and stuff like that. That'd be like Darth Vader trying to be in control of the rebels. Okay, a very evil entity. It's a necessary evil per se. But again, remember, Bitcoin can't be stopped. My prediction is, and my probabilities is, if you guys don't know anything about Bitcoin, I think they're going to try a hard fork of a Bitcoin. And if you don't know what that is, then look it up. Just like Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Satoshis or whatever it is, they're going to make a hard fork and try to make their own Bitcoin. Because remember, there's only 21 million that's ever going to be mined, and roughly 4 to 6 million are missing based on people losing their keys, dying with their passcodes, whatever, which is actually contributing to the scarcity of Bitcoin. I think they're going to try to hard fork it and try to control it as much as they can. Do I think they're going to do it? No. Am I going to buy a Bitcoin ETF from BlackRock? Absolutely not. It's just the same as trying to buy silver on paper. I would never do it. Are they going to try to manipulate it by making more Bitcoin? Sure, of course. They're going to do that on paper and stuff like that. But the people that really know about Bitcoin already knows, not your keys, not your Bitcoin. The same exact thing with silver and gold. So what are my predictions on it? Well, it's going to definitely, in my opinion and my probabilities, it's definitely going to make the price of Bitcoin skyrocket, because it's going to be more of a household name. If you say the word Bitcoin to people, most people, if I ran into 100 people, I'd say 85% of people, maybe more, but I'll just say 85, heard of Bitcoin. Now, out of those 85 that heard about Bitcoin, can they actually explain to you about Bitcoin? I'd say maybe 2 or 3 of them, or 4 out of every 85 could actually explain it to you. Maybe less, I don't know. But once this stuff is happening, and with the cryptocurrencies getting sued by the SEC and becoming securities, and the interest rate pause, and people finding about the fiat currency and getting into precious metals and the banks and all this other stuff, people are going to start looking into cryptocurrencies and going to find out about Bitcoin. And with BlackRock also using it as an ETF, there's going to be big money getting into it. And when the big money gets into it and they really find out what Bitcoin is, because, some of them are going to get the ETFs, of course, and it's going to be, which they should have done a long time ago, and made it an ETF. It's going to create a stir, and it's going to create a lot of institutional money and big money to go into these ETFs, on top of people learning about what the actual Bitcoin is and how scarce it is, and the ledger system and the immutability and everything else about it. You know what I mean? So it's going to be crazy. And again, my precious metal guys, you guys are the hardest, egg to crack, I guess. I'm not going to tell you to buy Bitcoin. I would tell you to take a look at it and ask yourself and use critical thinking and say, why would BlackRock want to buy Bitcoin and use it as an ETF and not buy any other cryptocurrencies? Why? Same reason a lot of central bankers are buying gold and putting it on their balance sheet. In my personal opinion, based on things that I've read and the things that I've learned about, the reason why people aren't into Bitcoin, because they don't understand it. If somebody sat down and taught every single human being about what Bitcoin is, and everybody had to learn about it, let's just say Bitcoin would be in the billions per coin. It is freedom money, ladies and gentlemen. It's the greatest money and the hardest money ever created. It's freedom money that can't be confiscated. And the reason why I call my channel Jerry Loves Freedom, because I'm a person that reads the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. And when I read those things and I look at the Bitcoin white paper and I say, wow, this really reminds me of that. And Satoshi Nakamoto, him, they, her, whatever those pronouns is for that person or group, when they made it, they disappeared like George Washington. And they didn't want any credit for it. And they left us the greatest money ever made. And if I were you, I would take a hard look at it and learn about it. And ask yourself, why are so many people buying it? And I'm telling you, based on my evaluations and people a lot smarter than me, when you wake up in the morning and see Bitcoin at 20-something thousand a coin, they're giving it away, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely giving it away. And with the environment coming up now in 2024, with the Bitcoin halving and all this stuff and I'm telling you, in August of this year, I want you to listen to me, guys, because a lot of you guys didn't know about the Bitcoin conference. Ramaswamy, whatever his name is, I don't know, the presidential candidate, Ramaswamy, whatever his name is, he was at the Bitcoin conference. Tulsi Gabbard was at the Bitcoin conference, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was at the Bitcoin conference. Ramaswamy, whatever his name is, the presidential candidate, he's going to be debating in August. And I'm telling you, when he gets on the debate stage, he is going to be talking about Bitcoin. And some other people are going to be talking about Bitcoin, including Ron DeSantis. He's going to be talking about central bank digital currencies, which most people don't know about. And when you look up CBDCs and central bank digital currencies, you get into it. That's another reason I think Bitcoin I'm bullish on Bitcoin, and I think the price in fiat dollars is going to go up, because many people don't realize this, but the central bank digital currency is like a billboard for Bitcoin. Central bank digital currency is Lex Luthor, and Bitcoin is Superman. You can't look up Lex Luthor without finding out and reading about Superman. It's the exact same thing. Gary Gensler just came out last week and said, we don't need any cryptocurrencies because we already have a digital currency. And he was talking about the central bank digital currencies, ladies and gentlemen. And it's already launched all around the world. I think it's going to be a while in the United States. But in August and in the rest of this political campaign for president, they are going to be talking about central bank digital currency, regardless if they talk about Bitcoin or not. So you have to ask yourself, is this an investment that I should be looking into? You should be diverse. And also, again, silver stackers, gold stackers. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, okay? And again, you see all this silver on the table. I love it. We are not going to transact in silver and gold. So if you're holding on to gold and silver and think you're going to cash it in, you will be able to cash it in for central bank digital currencies, because there's not going to be a lot of political currency units anymore. They're getting rid of that stuff slowly but surely. You're going to be trading for central bank digital currencies. Now, if you're going to pass it to your family and stuff, that's fine. But educate them on what's going on, because I'm telling you, these kids don't give a damn about gold and silver for the most part. Now, our kids do, because we teach them that. But there's a very small percentage of people that actually know about silver and gold bullion. They just don't. So if you think your constitution is silver, you're going to, buy a car, with $100 worth of Morgans. I'm not saying you can't with a small percentage of the population, but guys, we're in the digital age, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to be using digital currencies. And it's central bank digital currencies versus the best money and the most free money in the world. And that's Bitcoin. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Again, put on your thinking caps and use critical thinking. You know what I mean? I'm not telling you to buy anything. Just look into it, read about it, and find out what it is. Read the white paper, look at the network, listen to people that are into it, and figure it out. And poke holes in it and try to figure out if it's good, bad, or indifferent or whatever. But I'm telling you this right now. I am telling you this. My probabilities say this. It is the most undervalued asset and the most valuable asset in the world that's going to be in the world, and it's finite. You can't make any more Bitcoin. You can make more silver. You'll find more silver. You'll find more gold. You're not going to find any more Bitcoin. And by the way, if you guys are wondering what this is just a calculator, ladies and gentlemen. Just a regular old calculator. Nothing to it. Just punch the numbers in this calculator. So look that up. Look up Bitcoin and get your mind and your money right. All right. I love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love.